The hardest part about losing my house right now is feeling like I'm about to go back to square one.
I'm about to lose my house, and not for the reason you would think.
We're losing our rental. We can't buy it.
Really hard in the job to buy a home only to die one day was a bullshit plan.
I love everything about this house, but
I can't do this. I can't work a 9 to 5 until I die.
If you buy a house to live in it, it's not an asset. It's a liability.
We're losing our house and we need help.
I will never be able to afford a house.
You can pay over $300 in non-refundable fees.
I lost my house with everything in it. So now I'm crashing out.
You should be facing homelessness.
Imagine working 40 hours every week, getting your paycheck, doing everything you were told to do, and still being afraid you could lose your home. Well, for some Americans, that fear is becoming a reality. Do me a favor, if you are new here, make sure you smash the subscribe button, like, comment, and don't forget to hype me up. Alright, let's check out this video.
Y'all, we done came a long way and everything, and today I got some very, very important and sad news. I'm not gonna lie. So, my landlord, he actually is in the process of evicting me. I know it's crazy, it sounds wild and everything. I'm really gonna be explaining everything on the YouTube video. This was just to shortly, briefly just go over everything. I got my reason for not leaving everything right now, is I got put to the court. But yeah, man, we have to go through this whole process and all that. I told y'all I've been stressed with my financial issues, literally. Like, I've been trying my hardest, been trying to do everything I possibly can to maintain and just do good and best for my family and all that. I'm not gonna lie, but y'all, it's kind of traumatizing for this to happen because I literally just came back from Puerto Rico and just got hit with this. Now I got to deal with this case and just figure out as much as I can so I don't got to leave this crib. Like, shout out to all my friends and family for helping me out with this process, but I really need you guys' help right now. Anybody that sees this and everything, if y'all can contact me or hit me up to just help me out a little bit so I can get everything rolling, get the ball moving, all that. That would be great, y'all. But I literally got like the whole thing written up. I don't want to show y'all too much and all that because it got a case number and all that right there, but yeah, man, I'm be explaining everything on my YouTube videos, so y'all can go see that. It's going to be way longer. I didn't want to take too much of y'all time and all that, but this is a crazy, crazy process right here. I'm not going to count. And I keep everything real with y'all, so we're going to just see what we can do, man. We're going to see what we do. Hard times.
The hardest part about losing my house right now is feeling like I'm about to go back to square one after working, gosh, I don't even know how many years to get my house. But because I don't have a job right now and I can't seem to find one, I can't apply to live anywhere. So I'm looking at potentially being homeless with my 2 cats. So I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm running out of options. But I hope things turn up. I hope I can get a job. I hope I can find some place, but I don't know right now. So I'll keep you guys posted either way. Thank you again for your support. I appreciate it. Have a great day, fam.
I love my house. I'm going to start off by saying that. I love this house. When I was home shopping back in 2021, I chose this house on purpose. The only way I can describe it to people was that it's a house full of love, and you could feel it when you walked in the door. As soon as I walked in the front door of this house, I knew this was my house. I knew it. It sounds completely insane, but maybe you understand that when I walked in, I knew it was mine. And I do love this house. I love everything about this house, but I've come to the realization that I can't stay here because I can't afford to. And it's not that I can't afford the house payment. It's because there's so much wrong. I got a home inspection that wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And if you look back in my TikToks, I've done videos about the multiple things wrong at this house before. It has just been one thing after another, and the list of things that I have to fix is...
Chances are you haven't just bought your house. You're not a house owner, or you're not a home owner. You're a house buyer. You're going to be paying it off for the next God knows how long. And yes, your value may have gone up for £40,000, but you can't spend it, can you? You can't just go up and shave 10% off the side of your property and go and sell it and use it. If you buy a house to live in it, it's not an asset. It's a liability because you're the one paying the bills. It's costing you money to live there. My van doesn't cost me anything to live in other than travelling and insurance, which anybody who has a car would have that bill anyway. So if you've taken out a mortgage on a house, you have essentially signed up to give so many hours away in order to repay to the value of X amount. It's going to take you thousands and thousands upon thousands of hours to pay that back, right? But here's the thing. Because I don't live in a house and I don't have to pay rent and I don't have to pay a mortgage payment, I did actually once have a house deposit saved up, but the houses that I was looking at didn't really like the look of them. They were far too small for what they cost. I'm able to buy.
I can't do this. Like, I can't work a 9 to 5 until I die. I can't spend the best 8 hours of every day inside, slaving away for corporate America, working towards somebody else's dream, limited by a certain salary. No matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, it is just so depressing. It's so depressing to think that here I am wasting the prime of my life. I'm only going to be this young. Now, every single day, I'm just getting older. And I don't know how people live with this, like, their whole lives, and they're just clocking in and clocking out, and it's just so depressing. It's so depressing. I need to succeed with this UGC stuff because I don't really have another option. I really don't. I cannot fathom decades of a 9 to 5, no matter what it is.
I'm about to lose my house, and not for the reason you would think. I tell you, I am so mad right now. I am furious. Backstory. I have a 13-year-old son who has a best friend. They have been best friends for 6 years. We were in a shelter with this family. This family, however, has fallen on hard times a couple of times, but our children are best friends. This family lived in the same complex we lived in. They were evicted, been houseless, sleeping in their car. In June, my son's best friend moved into my son's bedroom because I will not let a child sleep on the streets. The manager came to me last month, said, I noticed this boy's been around a lot. I explained the situation. I said, if you don't want his parents picking him up, because his parents only pick him up and take him to school and drop him off from school at night. That is the only thing that they do. I said, if that's a problem and you don't want them on the property to do that, let me know. I can have them drop him off across the street. Absolutely. I would hate to put a kid out on the streets. I will keep...
Story on where we're going to go since we're losing our rental. We can't buy it, and we really can't afford to rent another house. Rent is insane right now. We have been here for 10 plus years and are paying a really great price, but nowhere in town is anywhere near that unless we go to an apartment, and paying $1,400 a month for an apartment seems crazy. So our options are we either go live at my husband's grandma's house, but it is about an hour and a half away. But that would be rent free, or we do have an RV, and we have friends that have offered for us to stay on their land, and they do have full hookups for it. And so that would also be rent fee free. We would just obviously help our friends out with utilities. So both those options helps us to be able to pay off debt faster. The bad part about going an hour and a half away is my husband, is on call sometimes, and he can't be that far away when he's on call. It also adds 3 hours to his day, which is just more time that he's away from us. But it is a house or living in the trailer. We're still in town. And so my husband being on call and getting overtime is a lot easier to manage. But it is an RV, so it's limited space. No one has personal space.
I knew at 18 that working really hard in a job to buy a home only to die one day was a bullshit plan. More like a long game prank you play on yourself. So it's funny when I hear people whinge about not being able to afford a home. They got sold the fuck you dream, and worse, they bought right on into it. If you buy into what the culture sells you as home, good luck. No one's really home in this world. It's just a nice place to visit in the spacesuit of your body. So I say, let people unconsciously think they're immortal by owning a piece of land, when really, the land owns us.
I don't know how to start this video other than to just say what it is. We're losing our house and we need help. Long story short, after just over 2 years of us having this house, our very first ever house, we are losing it to foreclosure. Hooray. I am so
unhappy to be making this fucking video right now. It is so embarrassing. It is so vulnerable. It is so not what I like to be fucking doing, coming here and groveling. But we need help to get a place. Because we don't have anything saved for this. We have not possibly very long. We have 4 dogs, so finding an apartment with 4 dogs is definitely not ideal and it's going to be tough, but we don't really have a choice, so. This is super frustrating. So many fucking things considered. It's a tiny 1-bedroom hobbit house. It's adorable. I love it, but it's tiny. It's in a dangerous neighborhood. There's no reason why 2 grown adults, one with a full-time job and one with 2 part-time jobs, shouldn't be able to hold this shit down. But
Listen to me. I will never be able to afford a house. I will never be able to afford a house.
Home prices are rising nationwide as inflation remains stubborn and mortgage rates remain high as Americans compete for fewer available homes. Home prices in March were up 0.4% compared to February. Now that's the second month in a row that we have seen gains.
My parents' house that is $195,000 back in '96 is now worth like $500,000 to $700,000. My children will never be able to have the life I live because I can't afford to do it.
I don't think any of us thought when we were growing up that owning a home would be a luxury. Like maybe we thought it would be a bit difficult, but not like a luxury that basically only the rich will be able to afford.
No one that works a full-time job should be facing homelessness. And that's what my family is facing right now.
Being completely radicalized by the rental housing market right now, I cannot believe that you can pay over $300 in non-refundable fees just to apply for an apartment.
A big part of the reason why social life here in
Same amount of money, walk out with few bags.
I'm so mad. I was in such a productive mood. And then my basement decided to flood every time I do laundry, so now I can't do laundry. I literally have all this laundry down here. Like, that's all filled. It, like, flooded up to there, but whatever. Like, I can't do it, and I can't get a plumber till Monday. So now I'm crashing out. Anyways, happy Saturday from a homeowner.
What's happening, everyone? It's the billionaire gifter. Guys, I need to have a chat with you. Okay, this is serious. Today, I've received some posts through, the letterbox. I've opened it, and it's a solicitor. The solicitor has been appointed the position to basically let me know that within 5 weeks, the bank has repossessed the house, and I'm going to be homeless. I never thought I'd ever be saying this to you. I have a laugh at you all the time and say I'm rich. I have a laugh at you and say I'm a billionaire. I have a laugh at you and say I'm the hardest geezer in the world. I don't mind making content and having a good joke about it. But in real life, we all struggle. 1 minute we're up, next minute we're down. And we can deal with that. We can have a laugh of it. But no one expects to wake up and find they're going to be homeless within a few days, a few weeks. I'm scared. I'll be honest with you.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2,000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay? I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was.
Hi, ladies. It's me, Jackie. With a heavy heart, and I'm so devastated, you guys, that I lost my house with everything in it. My house burned down to the ground. And the only thing I left with was my purse, my car keys, my furry babies, and my purse. That's it. I lost everything in my house. My store went down. Everything went down. Everything burned to the ground. The whole block on my street burned down. And my front neighbors, the whole row burned down. My row where I lived at, the whole row burned down. Across the street on the other side, like coming in, they all burned down. All Altadena burned down. The post office where I used to take your guys' stuff burned down. I don't know when I'm going to come back, but I know one day I will come back. And I hope I see you guys then. I will come on TikTok every now and then, but right now, my heart is...
It is utterly appalling to me that a single individual human being working full-time cannot afford to sustain themselves solitarily. Not long ago in America's history, a single income could get you a house, you could take care of yourself, your spouse, your children. Now, everyone I know has to have multiple jobs to be able to afford to live with other people, to have roommates. You can't afford a studio apartment unless you're a couple. How are we supposed to survive? At this point, partnering with someone is less about romance and more about fucking survival. You have to have multiple incomes in order to be able to maintain a livable situation. It's absurd. It's fully and utterly absurd. We have a generation.
I officially have $0 to my name because I just took out every penny that I've ever saved. And this is on top of the deposit I've already made to buy a house. And wow, down payments are really large and I'm broke now.
It took me years, but I finally found my first home, one that I could afford. Come with me. I worked for nonprofits for years and years, and that was foolish of me. Because, this is my house. What's really exciting, too, is we have 2-car garage. 3 car? 1 car. Cars? No cars. I think the best part about this new house is all the natural light it's going to get. Through the roof, through the windows, through the hole that is the mouth of the house, which should have a door, but it does not. This is the year I finally pay off my undergrad loan. I just turned 40. Once I have money in my pockets, this is just gonna look incredible. There's gonna be a bed in there. This is exciting. Look at these stones. You could do everything with stones. Anything with stones. That is gonna be my furniture, these stones. Well, it's been a great time having you look at this. I guess I better get inside and cook a meal. Y'all take care. Have class.
Here in America, you can literally work a full-time job and then some and still be homeless. These jobs, the wages that these jobs offer, don't pay enough to afford rent. You're lucky if you can even afford to rent from somebody anymore. It's like if you want to have a car to drive to and from work, you also got to think about like the gas prices going up. In a lot of areas here in America, gas has reached over $4 a gallon. And then you got to think about like food expenses, you know, toiletry expenses, and then the money to, you know, afford rent. Or say you rent a room from somebody, you know, even that's not really even cheap anymore. but just go get a better job, they say. Budget your money better, they say. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, they say. You cannot work your way out of corporate greed. You can't budget your way out of corporate greed. There's literally individuals out here making the most money that they've ever made in their life, and they're still struggling like hell to make ends meet. And I'm sick and tired of this stigma that people who don't want to participate in capitalism anymore just have a victim mentality, one that's necessarily not true. We're sick and tired of these low wages and the ungodly high cost of living. And honestly, it feels like it's the sanest response to quit
This is the reality of looking at houses in the year of 2026. The house I'm about to show you is listed for $420,000. At maximum, this should be $200,000 max. Okay, no hate to the previous owners at all, but this is the kitchen. Another angle, as you can see, there is enough counter space for a bowl, if that. This appears to be a Stranger Things themed room. I just think when listing a house, maybe take that down. Or is that AI? I don't know, but it's interesting. Here's another bedroom. Honestly, if all the bedrooms look like this, I would say that this house has a lot of potential, but unfortunately that is just not the case. I have no idea what's happening on the walls, but here is another room. Yeah. I guess the one good thing about this listing is what you see in the pictures is what you're going to get. Nothing about it is deceiving, if you know what I mean. Here is the bathroom. And here we are entering the Conjuring basement. Like, this may have been where the movie was filmed. $420,000 for that house. And that is why I will be renting for the rest of my life.
I bought a house and it made me broke. Everyone tells you to buy a house, but nobody talks about how property taxes, insurance, and repairs just stack up over time. My fixed costs ended up exploding overnight, and this resulted in me going from buying a house, earning a six-figure salary, to living paycheck to paycheck. Budgeting has not worked to solve this problem for me. I am breaking down on my page how I am going to earn my way out of the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. If this is something you're interested in, hit that follow button. Check out that video on my page where I talk about my side income that I'm making. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey guys, so I have 9 days to come up with rent money or I will be getting kicked out of my home. These past couple of weeks have been really stressful and I've just been struggling a lot lately. On top of all of that, I'm also dealing with some legal stuff and I have court sometime tomorrow morning. I have no idea what's going to happen and I've just realized that I need a little bit of help right now. I've decided to make a GoFundMe sometime later today. I don't want to lose my house. And I've just been trying to keep it together. But just even sharing this video or just any words of encouragement would really help me right now.
I want to start off by saying that I really did not want to do this video. But my hand's been forced and I really need help. If there's anyone out there that deals specifically in housing, tenancy agreements, within housing associations, please get in touch with me. I really need help. A little bit of background into the story. My mum passed away on the 8th of June, very suddenly, very unexpected. And the last 9 weeks have been pretty rubbish, to be honest. We had the funeral on the 26th of June, and then 4 days later me and my dad went into the housing association in York Hill, and we were given a bit of paper highlighted with a rule change in 2019 that says the housing must be made aware of people that live in the house at least 12 months before the tenancy.
Insurance and bail, food become.
Why are we working 4 jobs when you can get one rental property and cover, if not make more than what you're making at 2 of those jobs because you're part-time? You got to learn how to make your money work for you and not work for your money, you know?
So I think I'm about to be homeless. So let's go back. 8 years ago, I moved in here. It's private and my landlady's absolute gem. She hasn't put my rent up since I've moved in. So I've been living my best life. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than everywhere else. Anyway, she calls me up a little while ago, just as I was about to start decorating the living room actually, and says, Lou, I need to sell, you know, I'm getting older, and I just want the lump sum. So I was like, okay then. So, which is her prerogative. I've got absolutely no hate. Like, she even said, if you don't want to move, I won't sell. I'm never going to do that to anybody. Like, everyone's got to do what's best for them. So I've been looking. Tell me why everywhere within a mile or so from where I am now is about £500 more expensive, even for places that are worse than my place. To put it into perspective, I've got a 2-bedroom masonette with my own back garden. I need a garden because I've got the dog, and he doesn't like.
Okay, if you're like, I work all the time, why can't I get ahead? I just have this dream for myself, a modest, humble life. We're talking a 1-bedroom apartment all on my own. Wild that that's the dream, right? If you're like, why can't I fucking afford this no matter what I do? Now, the answer is not that you're a piece of shit. The answer is that you are doing your best to survive in a system that is doing its best to try to get you as near death as humanly possible at any given moment. They don't want you fully dead because they still want you to show up for work. But everything else, they're really going to see how far they can push it. Your bosses are incentivized to pay you as little as possible to maximize profits for the company so that the owner can keep all that. We've rapidly commodified housing to the extent that housing is no longer seen as something people live in. It's seen as a profit-generating tool. If you're like, why could my parents do this? Why could my grandparents do this? Let me show you why. If the price of housing had risen along with inflation since 1970, the median house price today would be $180,000. Instead, it's $400,000. In 1970, it would be like they were buying today's houses at over 50% off. Worker productivity is up, generating more profit for your boss to keep. CEO salaries are up too. Your wages, though, flat. All while your cost to live gets more expensive. It's bad.
It's official. We're losing our home. I don't want to tell the kids. I don't want to tell them we have to move.
So we bought a house that we could not afford. And I don't mean like tight budget afford. I mean, we had no idea what it actually cost every month. $700,000 in Los Angeles County. We were 27. We saved the down payment. We signed everything. We thought that was the hard part. It was not the hard part. I'm Matty. I'm a teacher and my husband is literally an accountant and we're still figuring out how to pay off this house. This is that story and I'm telling everything.
Not everything. People can't afford to lose their home, so they get multiple jobs just to keep it. How many people here have multiple streams of income or multiple jobs just so they can pay their bills? And if you own your home, how many of those bills would you give up before you gave up your home? You see, if you really read and understand this comment, you'll know why we don't have a housing crash. Because unlike 2008, we don't have all these homes flooding the market because it's cheaper to keep them. There are no more affordable options out there just sitting waiting vacant. We can talk about Airbnb, we can talk about corporations owning housing, but everyone is keeping their home because they all locked into a really low interest rate. Ever since that point, home sales have fallen off of a cliff, but price hasn't. And affordability hasn't either. In fact, affordability has gone the other way, which again proves this point. You can't afford to lose your home. If you're renting, your costs went up. And yes, homeowner costs went up with insurance and property taxes, but nowhere close to the amount that rent did. And if you don't believe me on that, go ask anyone with a 2, 3, 4% mortgage and then see how much it would be to rent that same house. Especially in Florida, where homeowners get homestead tax exemption, which limits how much your property taxes can.
Another breaking point, and that's where we are right now.
I bought a house I technically can't afford. My name is Ruby. I just became a first-time home buyer, and please don't go in on me too bad when I say this, but I more than likely knew I was going to be house poor before I even bought my house. But before I go any further, I do want to say I don't regret it at all. Buying a house was still the best decision I've ever made.
But I was already struggling when I was renting, and maybe it wasn't the smartest thing to buy a house and add extra bills on me and add extra things on me. But hey, here we are. I bought a house solely on my income. So what I was qualified for, I pretty much had to kind of buy at the max of what I was pre-approved for. And that's because the housing market is just ridiculously expensive right now. If I would have bought a house way lower than I was pre-approved for, I would be living in a freaking shack, and that just was not possible for me. To be honest, I didn't even have a lot of money saved up. When I bought a house, I used my tax return, and that pretty much took the bulk of it. So after I closed, I did not really have a lot of savings. But at the end of the day, I'd rather be broke in my house than broke somewhere else or in somebody else's house.
It's crazy how back in the day, if you had a full-time job, you could afford to live by yourself. You could afford to have your own place, your own house, everything. But now you have a full-time job and you can't afford anything. It's just crazy how things change. And this just happened within years. It didn't just happen like over 10, 15 years. It happened within years. That's crazy.
I lost my house. I got a little bit of footage of me packing the moving truck. Has not been great. I mean, not as bad as I expected it to be, because at least I had somewhere I could go. I did not want to lose my house. I mean, for obvious reasons when it's just my house. And for two, it had my kids' rooms, their things, their friends. That's where they wanted to be and where I wanted them to be able to come back to when I inevitably do fight like hell and get them back. Trying to think about it like everything happens for a reason. Also, my niece fucked me up. Not on purpose, but still funny. I know they'll be upset about me losing the house. I know that my son is already upset about it. But at this point, there's nothing I can do. I only had half. I couldn't get the other half. Didn't get that much in tax return, and I only got it on like the 21st. And most of it went to the moving truck and the storage facility.
In a matter of 2 weeks, somehow I'm back to living in my car. Back to where we started. 2 weeks ago, I released day 0 of season 2, which was hype because I was gone for almost a month after season 1. But here's the thing. Usually, I like to use day 0 as basically a trailer of what's to be expected. For example, day 0 of season 1, I shot a scene as if I paid off all my debt in 100 days, even though it wasn't. And I wanted to do the same thing for season 2. But what sucks is that I failed at making it clear that I didn't have a house yet. Most viewers believe that I got a new home. However, that's not my crib. That's my coworker's apartment. That's not mine, gang. Yeah, it's not mine. But for the goal of season 2 is to see if I can make enough money from social media to buy a small home in 100 days. And to celebrate the first anniversary of Out the Mud content. I don't know if we're going to pull it off, but I'm down for the challenge. Let's go for it. Again, sorry for the confusion. However, enjoy the grind for the crib. We got 3 months to pull this off. I'm No Casa. Follow for more.
You work so hard just so that you can pay off rent. And then you realize that you can't even live in the house because you spend the whole day working to pay the rent. So who's living there?
Everyone, my name is Angel, and I'm struggling right now. I lost my Social Security, and I'm very behind on my land payment, aka my rent, mortgage, whatever you want to call it, and they are trying to foreclose me. I'm hoping, just praying that somebody can help me. I was thinking about setting up a GoFundMe. If anybody could help me, it'd be much appreciated because I'm struggling and I can't lose my house. Well, I live in a fifth wheel on my land, but if I lose my land, I'm homeless. I could really, really use some help. If somebody could help me, that'd be much appreciated, and it'd be God willing if someone could help. I'm really struggling. I have a daughter, my dog, my cat, and my husband, but my husband fell from a tree and is hurt and has not been able to work. I could really use some help. If anybody, just anybody, even if it's $1 or $5, you know, something to help out, because I got to come up with $700 just to save my land, and then, of course, have to have payments every single month. Please help, and God bless. Thank you.
Something is changing in America. And if
Well, I can't afford my house anymore. Not because I lost my job. I actually got a raise.
My mortgage payment went up by a lot. When I bought my house a couple years ago, it totally felt manageable. Starter home, modest neighborhood, like nothing fancy. My payment back then was around $1,600 a month, so which is like comfortable for a first-time home buyer. Then out of nowhere, my payment jumped to over $2,400 per month. Just like that, no crazy upgrades, nothing extravagant, just a normal starter home. And then I was thinking to myself, like all of this could have been avoided had I just shopped my mortgage rate back when I was getting the loan. I started stressing and was searching online trying to see if there was any way I could lower my mortgage payment. That's when I came across Fincast on a Reddit thread for first-time homebuyers. You upload your loan estimate, it shows your real offers with lenders side by side. People are saving hundreds of dollars a month just by doing this. That's money for new furniture, repairs, just homebuyer, homeowner stuff. Platforms like this are seriously so smart. Make it easy for you to protect yourself from these surprise increases and make sure that you're getting the best deal. I didn't know this existed when I bought my house, but now I'm thinking ahead and definitely going to be using it when I look at refinancing. So lesson learned, don't just assume that your mortgage is set in stone. Rules like
let's chat. I think I need some help from people. We are house hunting, and a couple weeks ago we had found our literal perfect house. Like I was so in love. I'm still so in love with the house. And at the time we saw it, we didn't make an offer initially because our circumstances we thought were kind of prohibiting us from making an offer. And then a couple days later, we found out, I inquired more and our circumstances changed. And of course, now we are able to make offers, which is great. But the moment we found that out, that house was already under contract. And so I've just been so heartbroken because if I had reached out sooner about the circumstance and figured that out, we could have made an offer. I think my mind is just full of regret. It's just heartbreak a little bit. I've heard people talk about oh, when you start house hunting, you're going to find so many houses you fall in love with that you're not going to get. And this is the first one I truly in my bones and soul felt could have been our home. And that's what kind of stinks about it is that I visualized us in the space, and I just obviously this is not a third world problem by any means, and I'm grateful for even the opportunity to be able to buy a house. And so I know this problem is so minuscule compared to the state of the world and everything, but it just doesn't change how.
I've been sharing a little bit about our story with losing our house to foreclosure, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit more of the backstory on what happened and how we got to that point. So my husband has a really great job. He had a really great title. He is in technology and specifically in the healthcare insurance space, has been for 20-something years. And in January of 2025, he found out he was losing his job because they were closing his whole department down, and they ended up selling the company a couple months after that. So it was a complete surprise to us. We didn't see it coming. We had no clue. We were not prepared for that to happen at all. We didn't have anything in savings. We had been putting all of our money back into the house, doing remodel projects and fixing things around the house. So we just were 100% not prepared for him to lose his job. Obviously, I'm a flight attendant. I work. What I make is not that much. It was enough to keep food on the table and keep the electricity on, but losing his salary was devastating, absolutely devastating. We just couldn't afford anything other than the absolute bare.
Okay, so I'm just checking. We're all unable to buy a house right now, right? I'm not the only one who runs the numbers every single day and looks at the budget and is just there is no way on earth that this is potentially feasible for me. I'm working with two very average incomes. They're not great incomes, but they're fine incomes. Incomes that 10 years ago probably would have meant that we could buy a house. I digress. Anyway, we pay rent so that we can live somewhere, because when we got out of college, we had to rent so we could theoretically save money to eventually buy a home. Except rent is so astronomical that we are actually not able to save for a home. Even still though, we don't pay as much in rent as I know other people do. We don't live in a huge city. It's somewhat affordable, even though I still think it's ridiculous. Compared to other people, it's still affordable. Okay, so subtracting that from what we bring home a month, yeah, there's still some money left. Except that somehow no matter what I do, because we've cut back on everything, we've cut back on groceries, eating out, we haven't actually traveled in a while. I have a freaking coffee machine at home, so I don't buy coffee out of the house. I will admit that we do get avocados, but we do get them from Costco, so it's less expensive. We both work from home, so we shouldn't be paying that much for gas, but yet somehow we are. I'm going through my credit card statement at the end of every.
I know I'm on a housing grant. I get it. it shouldn't even be a housing at this point. But it's fucking frustrating. Okay. Yes, we made a little over $600 on the GoFundMe. Yes, it's going to take 5 business days for that shit to hit my account, and we have nowhere to go to. Like, why?
We're about to lose our home. My girlfriend lost her job. I have a job, but it's not enough. We're behind on our mortgage payments. The GoFundMe link is in my bio. Any small contribution makes a difference. If you can, please share this and comment. That helps TikTok show this to more people.
If 2 working parents can't afford a home in Australia, the problem isn't them. The problem is the system. We're told to work harder, budget better, and stop complaining. But wages haven't kept up, housing's out of reach, and families are getting squeezed from every single angle. That's not personal failure. That's policy failure. And pretending it's normal, that's how it stays broken.
As somebody on a single minimum wage income, I have £80 a week left over after I pay all of my bills, except I still have to buy food out of that. As a single person who doesn't have any children to pay for, I cannot imagine what it would be like for single parents on a minimum wage. I work full time. I know that there will be a lot of other people in similar positions, especially if you're living in bigger cities where the rent is much higher. And I'm sure so many people are in the same position, that you work full time and you're exhausted from your work. And then, so in the evenings, you're completely depleted and you are just getting enough. I remember about 12 years ago being able to work. I had enough money left.
Why can't I afford to buy a fucking house? Not a fucking house, not a house for fucking, but a house. Potty mouth. You know, I work my little titties off. I work full time. I've got a bit of a side hustle. I have a relatively healthy deposit, I would say. But yeah, I still can't afford to buy a property. I mean, I have considered selling photos of my feet to maybe stump up the extra funds, but my trotters are rancid, to be fair, so no one's going to want those. I just find it so unfair. I really do. And what hope is there for our little babes, you know? It's pretty bleak, and maybe some will say actually mortgage isn't the be all and end all and actually just rent, but I don't know. It just feels maybe harder than it was 20 years ago. Because I have had mortgages before, then I got divorced. So that's why I'm in this situation.